Alright, what's shaking today, guys? So, no spinning on this lesson. All we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the parade route. So I got my magic cheat sheet here, so we'll break it down. We'll talk about kind of what all these things are, and I'll kind of tell you how I form my routines to fit the judge's perspective. So let's get started off with the parade route. So you'll line up, your entire band will be right about here. You have all your ranks, all your files coming through. And as a drum major, you're going to be just above them. So what's kind of weird about this is there's the line, the magic white line, you never cross it. Because you're a drum major, you can go across it as well as your front auxiliary and your banner, or shield squad, however your school does it. So when you go above, you'll kind of be out there, but that's where you make sure that this first rank does not go past this line. The first rank has to stop with their feet just behind the line, otherwise they'll enter the competition area, and that's the penalty for your band. So now a little bit less off the band base, we're going to talk about the drum major, this magic X right here. So right here, you've got your 30-second routine. So now 30 seconds sounds like a lot of time, but when you really break it down, 30 seconds isn't much. That's not just 30 seconds to get ready and get going. That's 30 seconds to, address the band, to put in your whistle, to show off. Sorry, my chicken scratch here, guys. And lastly, that's also 30 seconds to get the band moving. We're going to do to command. Toward command, there we go, to command. So now we put all of that together, you're not looking at a lot of time to really do this. So what I like to do personally is I gauge all my routines, even though you've got this magic 30 seconds, I like to do a 20-second routine. That's 20 seconds of this category right here. Get it different. 20 seconds of showing off. Oof. That's your spinning. I'm trying to get a video up online where you guys can see me do my opening routine and kind of get a feel for how long and kind of what I throw in there. But shoot for 18 to 20 seconds. Even 20 might be considered long. But this gives the judge a pretty general view of, okay, this guy or girl knows actually how to spin. They can do all this stuff. What it does is it gives you a 10-second cushion. Stuff happens. Just gonna say it. You get a drop. Let's see, we'll put drop right here. You drop the baton. That is a 3-point penalty. If you slip, which is any general break in movement, so you shift to the left, you shift to the right. You have to move. You have to break your perfect form. That's a 1-point penalty. These right here can take you from first to fifth in an instant. So you always want to factor in, because as soon as you go past this 30 seconds, it's a 1-point penalty to you. I looked it up because I wasn't sure if it was a 1-point penalty to you or a band. What I found was it's drum major specific. So don't worry about that, but still, 1 point makes a big difference in a game where the half points matter. So you've got these two different categories. You've got your 10 to 12 second routine. So next you've got your address and your whistle. So your address is generally, calling the band to attention. Band, attend, hop, one, all that good stuff. It takes a couple seconds. And so I recommend, some people will stop, they'll do like this turn around, they'll call it, they'll turn back around, and they're going to their spin. I kind of advise against that, just because in that little sequence where you kind of break it down, and you turn around, and you talk, and you adjust the band, you turn back around, by the time you're actually spinning, you've already killed 6 seconds of your time. When you've got 18 seconds to work with, that's a lot of time. That's a third of it right there, just calling the band to attention. As well as putting in the whistle. A lot of people like to milk the whistle. One thing I adopted for my 2 years on the street was I actually found a way to incorporate putting my whistle into my mouth as I called, the band to attention. And it all worked together with my first move. So I don't recommend turning around, even if you just peek your head back, call the band to attention, and then turn back. You save a lot of time, and get the whistle up, and then start your spinning. The whistle is important to remember. Drum majors will forget it, and it just looks better when you remember to do it, because you're not up there in your V for victory ready to count the band off, which I will talk about commands in one of the upcoming videos. You put in your whistle, and if you wait till the end, you've got one hand in the air, it just looks a little weird. Sorry about that. I'm running into my my lunch period of school here. Yeah, welcome to the fabulous whiteboard at Union Mine High School. All right, so try and get the whistle in. So you address the band. This is actually a pretty good order of things, you know. But a 10, hut, get the whistle in. Now that you got the whistle in, you start doing your show off. Once you're done showing off, you meet up in your command signal stance. You give the band your command, and you guys get ready to move forward. Okay, so we've effectively got your 30-second routine. So now let's talk about, so we've talked about time base of the routine. You want 18 to 20 seconds of that routine. Now how do you want to spin in the routine? Well, everything I'm expecting you guys to just know what I have taught you, which would be the side flourishes, the prop spin, and come up with some of the roll slash wraps. One of the best things to do is to put in the side flourishes. Why? Because the side flourishes, hopefully you guys can see me here, I'm not like in your face. The side flourishes cover a wide variety. You know, they're big, they're broad, they're out there. You want to show the most stick you can to the judge, because the judge is in a little box right about here on the very edge. So you need to do moves big enough that this person can see you all the way from over here. That's why the rolls and the wraps won't work very well in this. You can do them, you know, if they're depending on the, you know, the type, you know, around the neck, you know, you can see the contrast. But even that, because the stick changes planes, your baton will go from, you know, parallel to your body to perpendicular with your body. There's a chance, you know, might, you know, kind of disappear in the distance and with the band behind you. So I would stay with general big broad moves. If I get my recording up there, you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay. So anyway, 18-20 seconds, you've got big moves, you've got your broad moves, I think I spelled that right, and then so you've got your big, you've got your broad, and you know, it doesn't have to be super complicated. This is a great time to throw in a toss. You know, it really sets you apart. In my opening routine, I had, I believe, 3 tosses. You know, just kind of, they weren't necessarily, you know, super high into the sky, but you know, it still shows that you're daring enough to let go of the baton at some point. Okay. So this all goes into your opening routine. Next, we've got the transition to the beating of time. And I know I covered the beating of time. Those are one of my favorite videos I did, actually. So what you start off with is a transition to beating of time right here. We'll just do transition, trans to beating of time. Generally, I like to incorporate the music in this. If you're just trying to get through it, you don't have to. You can just do some side flourishes and then go on and beat it at a time. A lot of times when you listen to the music, there'll be kind of a natural strain, and you kind of fit your routine to fit that. So, you know, da digga da da digga da ta digga da ta digga da ta digga da da digga da digga da da run da digga da da digga da da digga da da digga da digga da digga da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba. You see, you know, I hope you can see my hand. It's kind of when I would transition to beat at a time, just because it just feels right, you know. And if you can successfully choreograph your routine to the music, it brings you into an entire different bracket of drum majors, because it shows you've got understanding, not just for what, you know, your baton does, but for what all of this is doing. So you're going full circle, and you're incorporating not just you to the band, but you're incorporating the band to you as well. So it just shows just a better understanding of what you're doing, and it looks better. It shows, oh, kind of features. You know, I've mentioned that a couple times, and that's one of them. It just looks right. You know, it looks better. So, you know, do that. Listen to your music and try and find a general time frame of where you think. And you know, if you want to just try and get to the street, it doesn't necessarily matter. You know, you're not going to get, oh, they didn't follow the music, go down. It might actually be incorporated in the score sheet, which I will hopefully break down at some point, but I gotta get my hands on one first. You can find them all. A lot of this information I'm talking about is actually on NCBA. That's the circuit we compete in. I assume you guys do, but depending on your location, you very well might not be. So there's that. Okay, so you've successfully made it in your beating of time. So just for the heck of it, let's do brown. So now you've got. We'll put this line right here. That is the salute line. So now as you're beating time, I'll actually make this a little bit longer. We do transition to beating of time right here. We'll oversell this now. Okay, final answer right here, guys. So you go transition to beating of time, meaning all through this section, you are beating time. So what this is spinning. You know, all this is spin stuff. Look cool, look pretty, and just get ready to make the jump from here to here. So now you're beating at time. I recommend about 12, not just nice straight from the basics, just beating time up. I want your angles perfect. You want your baton perfect. You want to frame your face. You want to think about all those things we talked about. And you want 12 is it's a pretty good standard. This goes into your precision category, all that good stuff, where it's just making sure it's all right, nice and perfect. You want to establish a clear beat, and there's just really things that if you can get a minimum of 12 really solid beatings, you're just going to kind of take a jump up and you're going to look a bit better. So now I know you guys are looking. So right here, I'll mark this as the salute line. Salute line. And I want you to notice that from the salute line, the judge is right there. So now, right here, when you're doing your opening routine, you're big, you're broad, and all that. Then as you move to your transition to beating of time, you're still pretty big. You're still pretty far away, you've got some good distance. When you're beating of time, obviously, you're not spinning, so you just want to look pretty. Look pretty there for you guys. Okay, so we're going to go back to red here now. So now what do you do with this gap? If you notice, I break it into chunks. You've got your transition to beating of time, and now you've got this chunk right here. And this is your salute routine. Salute routines are probably my favorite routine to make up. They're cool, they're fun, and you know what? They're just kind of great. The judge, if you notice, is right here, which is right in that zone, meaning this is a great time for you to do those raps I was telling you about. This is a great time to throw out any flat work, anything perpendicular to body where the stick wouldn't really show through down here. Everything's going to show through right here. If you've got like a nice little finger roll you want to add into, you can see those tedious little things right here because you're closer. The judge, it's just a lot more personal. The judge is right there. That's another thing you want to think about is just judge perspective. So you've got your salute routine. This is one, again, you try and incorporate with the music. So I will listen to, where, because generally there's like a strain. I believe the trio kind of usually lines up with it, is where I would contemplate trying to go into your salute routine. But it's going to average, I believe, around 22 counts. It's kind of the usual thing. So there's two things special with the salute. So you're doing all your spinning stuff, and you hit the salute, which I'm not sure if I did a salute video. I know I did one. I don't know if I posted it, though. I'll double check for you guys. Anyways, so you've got your salute line right here. It'll be, usually it's like a white line that's like tape across the street, or it'll be chalk or something. It's pretty easy to see. You always kind of know where to look. Just kind of look for the judges stand. You know it's going to be somewhere probably in the middle of the judges stand. And what there is there's what's called a 6 and 6. I'm going to do a 6 and 6 for you here. And what this means is they want you to hit a salute 6 steps before that line, and they want the salute to be held 6 steps over the line. It's an interesting concept. There are judges that pay attention to it. I don't know where you're spinning at, how tough the street competition is. I know that in most of my videos, I don't think I've ever successfully hit a 6 and 6. Well, the 6 out is the easy part. It's the 6 in that's the hard part. I think my first competition, I did like an 8 and 6 kind of concept. It just gets a little hairy and it gets tough. So that's why you want to just try and figure out kind of where it is. The salute line, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll break that down towards the end. So you hit it for 6 counts in and 6 counts after. So now if you hit it, I don't know, like right here. If you go into your salute right here, you just stay in your salute until you hit the line. As soon as you hit the line is when you start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're out. And then once you get out, you're back in a beating of time. 6 and 6, it's something I recommend doing. It's something I'm not going to be like, oh, it's not important, because it's very important. It's one of those things that if you can nail, and you can nail consistently, you're going to be a big fear on that street. And it's just important to try and just think about. No matter what, when you end your salute routine and you go into your salute, don't try and make it up. just hit your salute, go to the line. Once you hit the line, count to 6, and then get out of your salute. Okay, so I'll do a total recap at the end. So now, once you hit your 6 right here, so you just saluted. You got your 6 on the line, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that you're right here, you do a transition out of beating of time. We'll just do, I don't know, we'll do a little dot. We'll do out of beating of time. The trick to this one is just not to drop the stick. That sounds kind of weird. You're like, oh, but I want to spin, I want to show off. By the time you have spun here, beaten a time here, spun here, and saluted here, your judge has already made up their mind. There is no saving grace you can do in this last 200 feet that's going to change their mind. So as soon as you're done with it, just I'll try and do when I do my salute video, I'll show you easy ways to get out of it. Just pop out and go into beating a time in the safest way possible. And just because if you do, try and be like, oh, I'm going to be fancy, and you drop it, you got a 3-point penalty right there. If you're going to be fancy and throw in a toss, and you have to move to catch that toss, well, that right there, that's a 1-point penalty. So you kind of got to weigh your odds here. Like I said, there's no saving grace, there's no magic move. Just get out and just hope everything else was so solid beforehand that you're going to be good. Okay. So now I guess okay. So what I'm going to do. So if you notice, I want to let you guys into some pretty secret tips on how to practice this. Right off the bat, the parade route, as of NCBA, which I assume is standard for most of them, is 450 feet long. Cool. Well, 450 feet translates to 150 yards. So what, like a football field and a half? Okay, it's just nice to know how long your parade route is, so when people ask, you know how long you're going to be the center of attention and all that. The important one to know about is the salute line. I'll do a squiggly line out. The salute line is 250 feet out. First thing I want you to notice is 450 feet minus 250 feet is 200 feet. So it's just over halfway through the parade zone. So if the half's right here, it's gonna be 25 feet past the half. Cool, Sam. I know how far that is. Well, here's what gets interesting. 250 feet goes to 83.3 yards. What might you have at just about any high school that's got numbered yard lines that you can tell is 83.3 feet out? That's right. Football field. Sounds ridiculous. I did this several times. I would go out whenever I had time. I would stand at the 0 and I would march and I would set up, I would bring little traffic cones and I would set them right there and I would count 6 steps back. I would set down another traffic cone and my goal was to do my salute routine perfectly and hit that first traffic cone. I'm running out of good colors here. I would want to hit that first cone right here, which I had spaced out to be 6 steps before the line. So by the time I hit the salute line, which was the second traffic cone, I was golden. Practice makes perfect, guys. Let's just get into the hard truth of all of this. This is pretty easy stuff. It's just kind of forming your routine. It's being safe. It's thinking about the perspective. It's, I just said being safe. It's understanding the procedure of each one. And if you can really nail this, just get the general concept down. And you can do pretty well. What comes into play is just practice, guys. I said in my About Me video, this year I actually went undefeated on the street. I took first every competition I showed up to. Last year I took a second place in my very first run on the street, and then I took a first place the next time. It's just stuff like that, and I practiced my ass off. I chose to spin and learn all of this so well that I can sit here and in 2 minutes, I scribbled out this piece of paper with everything that you guys are going to need to know. It's just one of those things that if you care enough to learn,